Welcome everyone to CtUC 2020, Power of Purpose. Today we will be talking about efficiency task lists, regulatory logs using Censitrac. My name is Desiree Aceto. I am a CST, CRCST, and CIS. A little bit about me. I'm a mother of 4 and grandmother of 2. I am a surgical tech since 1995, trained in the Air Force. Some specialties that I've scrubbed are neuro, vascular, orthopedic, general, GYN, and pediatrics. I also have a background in labor and delivery, anesthesia tech, and various clinic settings. I was a sterile processing manager at Kaiser Walnut Creek. I've worked in various hospitals and surgical settings throughout Las Vegas since 2008. I received a BSA in business management in 2010. But most of all, I'm very passionate about sterile processing. What is SPD? Well, if you're looking at the human anatomy, we are the heart of every hospital and surgical center. That's very important in order to understand why Censitrac is so important in our department. Today's objectives, I'm going to explain the importance of using efficiency task lists in Censitrac for recording logs. I'm going to identify the types of things that get logged and why. And we're going to discuss the process of building and using efficiency task lists for logs. Some key terms that you're going to hear from me today are AMI standards, which is the Association for the Advancement of Medical Instrumentation. AMI is an accredited standards development organization by the American National Standards Institute, also known as ANSI, which signifies that the procedures we use to develop American national standards meet ANSI's essential requirements for openness, balance, consensus, and due process. TJC, also known as the Joint Commission, is an independent, not-for-profit organization. The Joint Commission is the nation's oldest and largest standard-setting and accrediting body in healthcare. Manufacturers' IFUs, which means instructions for use, healthcare product manufacturers are required to produce and provide instructions for use documents for their reusable surgical instruments, medical devices and equipment, and implantable biologics materials and devices. Some current obstacles that leadership deal with are staffing inefficiencies to meet productivity, paper records get misplaced or are incomplete, difficult to maintain accurate records when there are so many areas to document. It's time-consuming to locate a specific record when asked by a regulatory body. Paper records take up space in an already crowded environment. And the worst one, in my opinion, many records are kept in the decontamination room, then transferred to the supervisor. So if most of you are like me, this is what your desk or office looks like. What is Censitrac? Real-time tracking to surgical case, sterilization record keeping for infection prevention. Censitrac allows users to track to the instrument level through the industry's most capable and comprehensive surgical inventory management system. Why use Censitrac? It's so much more than just tracking instruments. Censitrac helps streamline the workflow and capture real-time data for the user. This real-time data can be used to staff the department more efficiently. Records the actual time a task is performed, which eliminates errors in documentation. It also records the person performing that specific task for staff accountability. And it allows leadership an easier way to track processes and report to regulatory bodies. Easy to use. Reports are easily accessible. It saves time so leadership can focus on other duties in the department. Leadership can schedule various reports to be emailed based on what information is needed and the frequency it is needed, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. Utilizing the filtering option, the user can access reports by specific task, person, group, and/or date. You can export your reports to Excel and build graphs if that is helpful to leadership. You can track hourly trends. Regulatory reporting. AMI standards and manufacturers' IFUs were designed with patient safety at its core. Every sterile processing department is designed different and utilizes different brands of machines, whether for cleaning or sterilizing. Taking that into account, AAMI standards created guidelines which always points back to manufacturers' IFUs. Testing the machines is something that must be done according to both AAMI standards and the manufacturer's IFUs. These mandatory tests are programmed into Censitrac when setting up reprocessing machines initially. Logs are an additional step to these pre-programmed mandatory tests and are utilized to verify that all processes required by the organization, AAMI standards, TJC, and the manufacturer's IFU are being done. Logs are an additional step to these pre-programmed mandatory tests and are utilized to verify that all processes required by the organization, AAMI standards, TJC, and the manufacturer's IFUs are being done. Here's an example of a paper log. As you can see, there's different areas that a technician needs to sign off, and a lot of times these areas get missed. What is an efficiency task list in Censitrac? Efficiency tasks are processes that must be performed for the department to function efficiently. Efficiency task list in Censitrac allows leadership to streamline and verify these tasks are performed as required through the department. These tasks are designed to reflect AAMI standards, organizational policies, TJC, and manufacturers' IFUs. Creating an efficiency task list. Step 1, in the main menu, you go to Administration, you select Efficiency Task List, and then you begin to create your task. In the Task Group column, you can create your own groups, or you can follow the examples as listed in Censitrac. And then you type in your task on the right-hand column. Once you've created your task list, then you want to print the barcodes. If you notice at the top, I have an arrow pointing at group. So you can separate or filter out each group. And then on the right-hand side is where you're going to select barcode sheet. I've provided some examples. If you notice, there's daily log task list. And then there's also one separated by the specific area, which is graveyard shift. Where to place your barcodes. You want to make the barcodes easily accessible to staff. I've shown some examples here how we have ours displayed in our department, whether it's at a computer, since they have to wipe their workstation every day per our department policy. They scan that as a task, and it gets recorded into Censitrac. We also have one on our sterilizer racks. And if you notice the ones on the right-hand side, those are the ones that are regulated either by our corporate office or AAMI standards. What I've done is I've actually printed those in different color codes. So the blue ones are daily task, and then the yellow one is a weekly task. That way they know the difference when they're scanning them. Scanning a task. On any computer in the department, users can scan employee efficiency taskbar codes to record the task being performed. First, they want to scan the barcode being done, and I've given an example here of our sink fill. Once they scan the barcode, Censitrac is going to prompt you to scan your badge to verify the tech performing the task. If the tech is already signed in to Censitrac, they can select Save Without Badge. It will also save automatically after about 5 seconds to whoever is currently logged into Censitrac. Creating a report. From the main menu, if you select Reports, you go under Employee Reports and find Employee Efficiencies, and then select Customize. From the Customize menu, you can go through and set whichever filters you want to run for your report. Here's an example of a report by log. So here we have the daily logs, and then I can see the scans and who did it at what time. You can also set up the report by the task itself. If you want to track and see how often this task is being performed, then you filter out your report by the task. You can also filter your report by the tech. So if you have a question on what tech is performing what task, then you would use this report for that. How to create and receive reports in your email. Once you've customized your report, you want to go down to the bottom of the screen to the area that says Create Exception Report. Schedule the frequency to receive these reports, whether you want it daily, weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly. And then you always want to start your report the next day. If it's a monthly report, then you'll start it the first day of the following month. You want to input all the email addresses that are going to receive this report and make sure you save. If at any time you need to add an additional email or delete an email, you want to go into that same menu and just select Edit, and you can delete anything or change anything you need to change. Here's an example of an email report that I receive daily for my department. Since I need to keep track of daily logs, I print this report out and attach it to my communication for my staff every day. Some obstacles to utilizing efficiency task lists. So when we first started this about 6 or 7 months ago, we did run into some learning curves. One of the things is how do other staff members know which task has been performed or not? So the lead tech now has to pull up this report every morning and print it for the staff to reference. We also annotate it in our daily communication report. Is there an alert to stop someone from moving forward if a task has not been performed? There is not currently. Does staff scan everything all at once or as the task is performed? This was an issue initially for us. We had to re-educate our staff, and now they're currently scanning the task as they are performed. Thank you for allowing me to share this amazing feature, and I hope it will be useful to your organization.